Section 3. In this first video, we're going to look at putting some data selectors on our dashboard. So we're going to look at list boxes and multi-boxes. So I'll hop over to the live demo. So here's our canvas. To add new objects, we can either use the icons along here on our design toolbar, or we can right click in the white space and click new sheet object and then pick the one we want. I'll start with list box. I'm going to build a list box for store name. So I pick from the drop down list the field I want. I'm going to walk you through each of the tabs. I'm not going to tell you about every property on here, but I'll try and point out the important ones. So on the general tab, we have the title. If we've given our field sensible names, like we have with store name, we don't need to put anything there because we can use as title the field name. The other couple we might use occasionally on this tab are show alternatives, which we looked at in a previous video, which makes the selections yellow if they are available to be picked but haven't been picked. And we may, with some data, look at show as tree view. So for instance, we may have a field in with a manager name and then a slash or a dash and then the employee name. And show as tree view would show the managers with a plus against them to allow us to drill down. The expression tab we won't look at. We try and avoid putting expressions on list boxes because they can be quite memory intensive. The sort options, the state, which defaults to selected. There's auto ascending and descending. The difference between auto ascending and ascending is that if all the values available on a list box are showing at once, and you click on auto ascending, when you click on a selection, it won't move. Whereas if you have it set at ascending, it will move to the top of the list. If they're not all shown, when you click on one with auto ascending, it will do the same as ascending and go to the top of the list. We can sort by an expression if we want to. We can sort by frequency, but generally we sort by numerical text value. So I'll leave that as is. Presentation tab. A couple of things on here of note. Just to make you aware, you could show your list boxes as an image. So if you had some data where it was maybe red, amber and green, you could show a red traffic light, an amber traffic light and a green traffic light instead. The alignment defaults to text to the left and numbers to the right. That's generally fine. We will change that occasionally for some things, but we'll leave it as is for now. Selection style. The default is QlikView Classic and I'm going to leave it at that, but there are others available and please have a play yourselves to see what they look like. We're going to leave the rest as they are as well. We'll have a look at single column when we look at another list box in a second. Number just allows us to set the format if we're displaying numbers. Font does what you'd expect, allows us to set the font. In the layout tab, most of this we're not going to look at on this course, but we will come back later to have a look at conditional display. Caption. So the default for a list box is to show the caption. We'll leave that on for this, but we don't always leave that on, and we'll have a look in later videos where we might turn it off. We've also got a whole host of special icons, and we'll have a look at those later on. But for the moment, we'll leave it as is, which is the search is set to on. So I click OK. You can see we've got our first list box. Just going to drag it over a little bit. I'm going to add two more, category and subcategory. For category, I can just click OK. Drag that over. And then I'm going to add one for subcategory. For subcategory, I'm going to turn off the single column and I'm going to have a fixed number of columns. And I'm going to click OK. Now it doesn't look like that's worked, but all I need to do is I get to the bottom of the list box so I can see that arrows at both ends and hold down my left mouse. If I drag it up to make it smaller, as you can see there, it changes. So I'll drag that over. So there are three list boxes, and we'll create a multi-box as well while we're here. Very similar set of properties, but we'll have a look. So multi-box. So the first thing we have to do is pick what fields we want. So we're going to go with supplier, right down the bottom of the list. And if I click add, you'll see at that point, the other tabs then appear. And the other one we're going to add is salesperson. But I'm going to make the name salesperson a little bit smaller, just because it's using up quite a bit of space. So I'm going to call it person instead, which I do by clicking in the label and typing in it. The other tabs are basically the same as we've seen on the list box, so I won't go through them in any great detail here. No difference, maybe the presentation, there are some options down the bottom for how it displays. And in caption, there's less special icons available. So if I click OK, and we see there we've got our multi-box. If I drag that down, you see it's quite a bit wider than the list boxes, but I can make it a bit narrower. If I hold the mouse, hold the cursor till I get a black line there. If I hold my left mouse down, I can then drag that across. And the same with the data itself. If I find the black line, I can then drag it across. It can be a little bit fiddly, but once you've got the hang of it, it's fairly easy. So we've got our 3 list boxes and a multi-box. And just to make sure, I think I've done a decent job of lining them up, but just to make sure, I'll show you the alignment tools. So I'll hold my left mouse down and drag the shape around all 4 objects. You'll see up here in the design toolbar that these icons are available. So I have align left, so I click that, and you'll see those top 2 move to align with the 2 below. I've also got space vertically, which will change the space between the objects to be the same. So that makes the layout look a lot nicer. So I'll just hit save to make sure I don't lose that. And that's list boxes and multi-boxes.